Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my first impressions on the Monochrome Manga Club series reads for the month of April. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble where we read 2 first-in-a-series selections, and we are currently doing 2 full series reads. So our selections for the month of April were Volume 1 of Ako and Bambi by Hiro. This one is published by Yen Press, rated teen. We also read Volume 1 of Bocchi the Rock by Aki Hamazi. This one is also published by Yen Press, rated teen. And then for our series reads, we read Volumes 3 and 4 of Delicious in Dungeon by Ryoko Kui. This one is published by Yen Press, lots of Yen Press, rated teen. And then we also read Volumes 7 and 8 of Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui. That one is published by Viz, rated older teen, and my daughter and I are actually reading that one on the Shonen Jump app, so I don't have physical copies to show you, therefore the pictures. But because this is a first impressions video, I will not be talking to you about our series reads, so if you'd like to hear my thoughts on those, you can check out my DSIS-19 diaries for the week, or if you'd like to read Assassination Classroom with us, I am doing an audio podcast with my daughter sharing our spoilery thoughts on Assassination Classroom. We are a little behind because I've been very busy with work, but the episodes for volumes 5 and 6 should be up by the time you're seeing this video, and then the episode for the current month's selections, volumes 7 and 8, should be up shortly after this video goes live. So yeah, if you'd like to read along with us, please feel free to do so. You can share your thoughts with us on the selections in either video or in our Discord, which is linked down in the description box below. So let's get started with my thoughts on our 2 first-in-a-series selections. So let's start off with Bocchi the Rock. So Bocchi the Rock is about our main character here, whose name is Hitori. And she is very socially anxious. She has a hard time making friends or talking to people. And so she's like right at the end of like middle school and like the summer term. And she's going to start high school. And she wants to make a change. She wants to try to make friends and just kind of like be popular. And so one of the things that she thinks is that if she can become popular, that will help people come to her, so she doesn't have to go to them to try to make that connection. And so she decides to start learning how to play the guitar. She starts some kind of social media account and starts sharing her videos of her playing guitar in her, I think it says her closet. And she builds a following, and she's getting lots of good feedback from people who are watching her videos. And so she's feeling really good about herself. But then she goes to high school, and it's kind of the same thing over. She can't, be the person to initiate a conversation. But something happens, and then she gets roped into filling in as a guitarist for a small, rock group. They've lost one of their members, and they need a stand-in, and so they see her walking around with her guitar, and they're like, hey, you play the guitar? And so she goes, and it's kind of the start of her journey, with this group, making her first friends, trying to come out of her shell, and things like that. And so this one, I was very surprised at the way that it was situated in the manga, because it is more of a 4-panel comic style. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it. We get some really nice color pages in the front. There are several of those pages, which I really enjoy. I do have to say, though, that with stories that include music, I always feel like it's lacking something for me when I'm reading it. So because this has a musical element, you can't hear what she sounds like when she plays, or what the group sounds like when they get together for the first time, or things like that. You know what genre of music it is that they're playing, but you kind of lose that experience of having that auditory element to what you're reading, unless, you can like imagine what it may sound like. And so I find that when I read stories like this, it does lack for me, because I would much prefer to hear something original than to hear something that I would like fit in instead, because I can't imagine what an original song would sound like. And so, yeah, I was a little disappointed with my experience with this because of that, but I knew that was going to be something that I was going to have a problem with going into it. For me, though, Hitori was kind of irritating. Now, keep in mind that I am an adult. I'm an adult. I have a child, so I am a parent as well. And so, of like our manga club members, I'm coming at this with a different kind of view of the situation than the members are, because they're a lot closer to Hitori's age. Now, I have experience playing in musical groups. I know how, playing in front of people can be very nerve-wracking, and I would get very anxious myself. I would say that I was also socially awkward. I didn't like to, talk to people or make friends, but it wasn't something that was like as important to me as it seems to be for Bocchi or Hitori. Bocchi is her like nickname that she's given after she's been with the group for a little bit. And so I could relate a little bit, but not really. At the same time, there are just things that Hitori does that kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like I told you she has this social media channel, and she, like, they say shreds. She shreds her guitar. And she has a pretty good following. She gets really good comments. People are telling her nice things. She gets a lot of compliments. And that has kind of led her to have a really big ego. And for somebody to have a really big ego and still be as socially awkward as she is, I couldn't understand that. Every time like she would go and meet somebody, she'd be like, oh, they're going to recognize me as her handle name on her social media channel, and that'll get them to talk to me, which is what she wants, right? That's always been the goal, is to be so popular that people would approach her instead. But when she finds out that they either don't know who she is or they don't acknowledge, she like goes back into herself. And so, I don't know. It doesn't like click for me how someone with such an ego could be like that. So I'm having a little bit of a disconnect with that part. Also, her journey on how she kind of learned the guitar, I don't quite like get why she went that way instead of what I would consider an easier way. And I'm not gonna like explain, because it would give away some stuff, I would think, as far as the beginning of the story. But just some choices she made I didn't understand. I am enjoying like all of the other characters that we have been meeting, like the people that she has kind of gathered to herself with this group. I'm enjoying them. Bocchi herself, though, is very overly dramatic, and so for someone her age, I guess that could be like normal, but as an adult reading somebody who's overly dramatic like that, I didn't really enjoy that. So there were quite a few things that I didn't really enjoy in this volume. And I think it might be how I'm perceiving like lines that are being delivered in a certain way, because, each individual person, as we read, we are reading passages how we think the character is saying them. And so unless we hear like it in an anime where somebody else is delivering a line, or even with like novels, if it's like an audiobook and somebody else is delivering that line, it could be very different from how you as the reader initially is interpreting what is being said, right? As far as tone of voice and things like that. And so I had this problem with A Sign of Affection. We read A Sign of Affection a few months ago with the Monochrome Manga Club, and I didn't care for how the main male character was saying things, because I felt like he was being very like nonchalant about, you know, actually wanting to get to know our character, or maybe even a little bit, I don't know, stuck up or arrogant. How he was delivering the lines, how I was reading them in my head, that's kind of the tone that I took. But I have watched the anime adaptation of A Sign of Affection, and the way the line is delivered there is drastically different from how I had heard it in my head. And so I enjoyed the experience of watching that more. I am enjoying the story more now that I have like that tone of voice from the way that the voice actor delivered it. So I know there's an anime adaptation of this, and I'm wondering if by me watching this instead, that will help me a lot because of my experience with A Sign of Affection. Now that will also give me the auditory experience that I was lacking, because there should be music there, right? So I'll get those musical experiences, and maybe just hearing the dialogue between Bocchi and all the rest of the people that she meets, I'll be able to like connect with her a little better. At least that's what I'm hoping. So I don't think I'm going to be reading any more of this one until I watch the anime, and we'll see what I think once I do that. But I ended up giving this one 3 stars, which is still a good rating, but I don't think that I'm going to be continuing to read this anytime soon. So that's my thoughts on that one. And then Ako and Bambi. So this is a story about Bambi, who is our male character here. And he is living in this apartment that is like kind of cheap. So he is a like struggling writer. He has a small column, and his column's getting canceled, and he's living in this really cheap apartment. And the reason the apartment's rent is so cheap is because somebody had killed themselves in the apartment. So I think it says in the translation notes that in Japan, if somebody does that, there's a death in the apartment or living place, that it has to be disclosed to the people who either buy it or rent it or whatever. And so he's like, yeah, that's fine. And so, like I said, he's writing this column, it's getting canceled, and then his like connection at the publication says, hey, we've got this idea, would you be interested in writing like a kind of spooky type column? And so, you know, he gives it a shot, and as he's like trying to say, yeah, you know, I'll give it a shot, but ghosts don't exist, he meets Ako. And Ako is like a spirit who only appears to him at certain hours of the day. And so they kind of start forming a like friendship. They're kind of getting to know each other in this volume. Now there is a twist in this volume, and I'm not going to say what it is, but we definitely like find out more about Bambi and how he got to the point of his career where he is, how he got the name Bambi, because Bambi is like a nickname that he was given. And then we find out about his connection at the publication, and we're meeting some other people. This is very much like a kind of slice of life type of story with a little bit of a supernatural twist, I would say. When I first had heard about this series, it kind of gave me the impression this might have like a like murder mystery type element to it. That doesn't seem to be the case. This had very much a slice of life feel to me. We're following Bambi, you know, trying to come up with ideas for this new column, getting to know Ako, and, you know, meeting like past friends and new friends and things like that. And then we get this little bit of a supernatural element with Ako. And so I actually enjoyed this a lot more than Bocchi the Rock. but this still is like missing something for me. I feel like there's something missing. Like I said, there is a twist, and that twist has me thinking about a couple things that could be the outcome of that twist. So I'm very interested to follow this one and see like what comes of the information that we are given in this volume. I would say both of these volumes, Ako and Bambi and Bocchi the Rock, had extensive translator's notes at the back, more than I've seen in volumes that I've read recently, and that includes all of the Monochrome Manga Club selections that we've had lately. There were pages upon pages upon pages of translations notes, which I think we've seen like 1 or 2 pages, but there are at least 3 pages of translations notes, and I appreciated that. Also with Ako and Bambi, you can kind of see that the panels are kind of this like blue tone. This actually looks black, but on the inside, you see it's kind of more of this like burgundy brown and aqua color. And so it gives the panels a little bit of interest. Like it feels softer. It doesn't feel as harsh as the black and white. And I feel like it offers a little bit of like personality and just kind of an extra like vibe to the panels itself. This one is also in the comic 4 panel style. And so I thought that was very interesting because I did not know that both of these volumes would be laid out in that way. I, again, didn't think that Ako and Bambi would be laid out like that, but I am enjoying this one. I will be continuing to read this one. And I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was a little too, like, too slice of life-ish for me. I'm very interested, like I said, to see about the information that we had obtained in this volume and about that twist that I had mentioned. And so, yeah, definitely looking forward to more of this one. And I enjoyed it a bit more than Bocchi the Rock. So that covers all of my thoughts on the first in a series selections. Before I let you go, I do want to let you know what our selections will be for the month of May. So we will be continuing our series reads of Delicious in Dungeon with volumes 5 and 6, and then we will also continue Assassination Classroom with volumes 9 and 10. On top of that, we will have our 2 first in a series selections. So the first of them will be Cat Gamer by Wataru Nadatani. This one is published by Dark Horse, and Dark Horse does not have ratings on the back of their volumes, but this seems to be maybe older teen. Riko, a 29-year-old office worker with an obsession for video games, finds her quiet life upended when she takes in a stray cat. Having no experience with pets, Riko uses lessons drawn from video games to guide her in cat care, while her cute companion tries to understand Riko's behavior and personal obsessions through a cat's worldview. So it says nothing's more fun than gaming every day, except gaming every day with your cat. So I thought that sounded really cute, a nice and fluffy read. And then we're also reading volume 1 of Ex Yakuza and Stray Kitten. This one is by Rito Kamimura. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated teen. It says, a menacing ex-Yakuza boss takes in an adorable kitten. After being abandoned in the cold rain, tiny kitten Sabu should have been grateful to find a new home. But when he's rescued by Jin, whose every atom screams Yakuza, Sabu suspects he's out of the frying pan and into the fire. Yet Jin's scarred hands and face hide a sweet man beneath, a man who pampers kitties with baths and bottle feedings. And so I thought that sounded really cute. Obviously, we're going with fluff in the month of May because I have been having a difficult time with my reading lately, and I just wanted some really nice, fun, fluffy reads. And so I thought these 2 would be really nice to read through in May. And so, yeah, that will be everything for me today. So let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of our selections or if you'd like to join in on the selections for May. As always, you can feel free to do so either by commenting your thoughts down in the comments below, or you can join our Discord, which is also linked in the description box below. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a ghost emoji for Ako and Bambi, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.